This is me, and this is my dog Enzo. He knows nothing about Formula 1. For him, life consists of sleeping, going for walks, and chasing balls like his life depends on it. But today, we're going to add one more very important thing to his list of interests, as he predicts the winners and the losers, the champions and the flops, for the 2024 Formula 1 season. So to give every driver an accurate representation, I bought 20 different beanbags, and with some Leonardo da Vinci level arts and craft skills, I've turned each one into a bag that represents each driver. And yes, I've got spares for when Red Bull inevitably fire one of their drivers mid-season. Okay, now that we've got the drivers sorted, I figured that I might need to give Enzo just a little bit of help, so that the order he picks resembles some sort of feasibility, as quite frankly, in his mind, a Lance Stroll world champion is just as appealing as Max Verstappen, and as any mentally stable F1 fan will tell you, that's less likely than getting an interesting race at Monaco. And so, just to add a pinch of realism, I've arranged the bags into a triangle, with the drivers that finished in the bottom 6 in 2023 in the bottom row, then 10th to 14th on the next row up, 6th to 9th on the middle row, 3rd, 4th and 5th next, and then the top 2 at the top of the pyramid. Though not arranged to scale, as otherwise I think Max Verstappen's bag would be somewhere in the next room. And just in case anyone is wondering, even though his name is Enzo, that doesn't make him a biased Ferrari fan. I wouldn't subject him to that sort of pain. But with all that now set, time to get predicting. So in 20th and last place, after originally picking up the green number 20 of Kevin Magnussen, Enzo instead elects for the red number 24 of Sauber's Zhou Guanyu. Clearly not much hope for the Chinese driver then. Entering his 3rd season now in F1, all with Sauber, and if Enzo is correct, it's set to be his worst. On to P19 then, and after looking like Logan Sargent was a surefire lock-in for the position, it turns out that Kevin Magnussen didn't have to wait too long. As after a P19 finish last year, the Dane goes back-to-back, as with no Günther Steiner doors left to smash.
He does not fox smash my door, tell him that.
It looks like it's going to be a pretty dull year for Kevin. 18th place now, and after once again contemplating Logan Sargent, Enzo instead elects to change his mind and predict number 22, Yuki Tsunoda, for this slot. Either that, or he's just decided that the name Visa Cash App RB is so awful that the drivers get low predictions as punishment, with Tsunoda specifically coming second between him and Ricciardo, meaning that any shot of the big Red Bull team for him gets thrown away. Then again, things getting thrown away is nothing uncommon at Red Bull. On to 17th, and after nearly picking back-to-back RB drivers, Logan Sargent's number is finally called to slot into P17. Provided that he stops smashing up cars like Kardashians do athletes, as well as no longer driving around the track like he's in my grandma's Nissan Micra, I could quite possibly see this happening. Logan may need a little luck in a race or two, but his second season should probably be better than the first, in Enzo's opinion anyway. On to 16th, and after ploughing into half the grid, Enzo's choice is the second member of Team Credit Card, Daniel Ricciardo, with the Australian eyeing up that second Red Bull seat and needing a solid year in the RB car to do so. Well, it appears that may not be the case, as the man from down under may well end up down the standings and under 15 other drivers. On to 15th now, and 1/4 of the way through, and after very nearly deciding to pick Alex Albon, the selection is instead the second Haas driver, Nico Hülkenberg. Not gonna lie, given the state of the Haas team, a driver that's all the way in 15th place, pretty optimistic. Then again, down this end of the grid to sit above some others, all it would take is a few good results. Then again, this is Haas. In 14th place then, and it appears that he's going for someone on the second row, as Enzo's picked up, it's Lance Stroll. Well, what can I say? If there was one driver to pick to have a bad year, it's probably Lance, as it appears that even in the dog world, the Canadian's ability, or lack thereof, is well known. Honestly, the only thing more disappointing than Lance is the look that Enzo gives me if I'm late to give him his dinner. Next is 13th, and it looks like a beeline towards one of the two Alpine drivers. Yes, 13th place is the Frenchman number 31, Esteban Ocon, with Enzo seemingly understanding how the human world works by not having any high expectations for anything French. What can be said though is that having Esteban Ocon beating Pierre Gasly does match 2023, so maybe he's onto something there. On to 12th place now, and after yeeting Valtteri Bottas across the room, it appears Lando Norris is in trouble, until Enzo comes to his senses and instead elects to pick the second Sauber driver, which of course is Valtteri Bottas. Sorry to break it to you, mate, but for this one, you're wrong. So wrong.
It's just like wrong.
It's probably more likely that Nikita Mazepin makes a 2023 guest appearance than it is Valtteri Bottas, or more accurately, any Sauber driver, finishes 12th. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if in 2024, Valtteri gives us more different hair and facial hair styles than actual points in the championship. The final driver in the bottom half now, and after initially going for Alex Albon, then taking a possible go at George Russell, the final selection is instead the second Alpine of Pierre Gasly, as it appears that while Gasly will be beating Ocon, it's not by much. Pierre actually finished in this same spot last year, and apparently there won't be any improvement in 2024. To be fair, he does drive for the most mediocre team I've ever known, and so 11th place for Frenchie number 2, not too unrealistic. Halfway through now, so let's take a quick look at Enzo's predictions so far. As it's Zhou and Magnussen in 20th and 19th, Tsunoda then Sargent in 18th and 17th place, 16th and 15th belongs to Ricciardo and Hülkenberg, with Stroll and then Ocon in 14th and 13th, before finally rounding out the bottom half with Bottas in 12th and Gasly in 11th. Into the top 10, and with only that one driver left on the fourth row, it seems like it's an easy choice for Enzo, as finishing in the top half of the standings will be Williams driver number 23, Alex Albon. While I personally think that Alex Albon is really good, I'm not sure he's this good. However, maybe an improved Williams, with one driver much better than the other, could account for the 10th place Albon and 17th place Sargent, especially if Logan is still figuring out what a kilometre is. But for Alex, I think if you gave him the offer of 10th place right now, he'd probably take it. Number 9, and after being tempted by the 63 of George Russell, the choice instead is a green one, as 9th place in Enzo's predictions goes to number 14 and Fernando Alonso. Sadly for the human jawline, it appears that a step back is on the cards. And when you consider that last year, Aston Martin's car development was more of a mess than Donald Trump's hair, I could see that step back continuing. Maybe not as far as Enzo believes, but for now, the dog has spoken. Into the top 8 and it's 2023's top 4 teams left, beginning with a disappointing prediction for the first Ferrari driver, as in his final year with the team, it's Carlos Sainz in 8th. Clearly Ferrari are electing not to give him any of the good parts then. Now as Enzo goes back-to-back Spaniards 8th and 9th, while Carlos may be the smooth operator, it would appear that in Enzo's mind, it won't be the smoothest of seasons. That being said, Carlos actually finished 7th last year, so moving one spot down to 8th may not be as big of a leap as it seems. P7, and it's the first McLaren driver off the board, as up from P9 last year, it's Oscar Piastri as he looks to build on a strong rookie season. For 2024, Oscar will be hoping that he can score as many points as possible, with McLaren looking to build on a strong second half of last year. Ultimately though, a real goal for the Australian will be trying to close the gap between him and teammate Norris. And if the Australian can do that this year, he'll do just fine. On to 6th place then, and there's no deliberation here, Enzo goes for the middle driver in pink, and it's number 63 for Mercedes, George Russell. For George in 2024, I think there's one simple question: which number will be higher? George's finish position in the standings, or the number of different things he decides to crash into? For me, I think it could be pretty close. George will be hoping for a better year than last, and for these predictions Enzo has given it to him, only just going from 8th to 6th. Top 5 time now, and it appears that 2024 will be a bad year for Ferrari, as the 5th place driver is number 16 for the Scuderia, Charles Leclerc. Charles recently signed a new contract with the team, meaning that for a number of years to come we can expect even more strategic errors, crashes, and general Ferrari pain. He's even roped in Lewis Hamilton to join him as well. 5th for Charles would have to be considered a disappointment, especially considering that just 2 years ago the talk was if he could win the title. Now it's just, will his pole position last longer than 5 laps? 4th place, and once again it looks like a pretty easy decision, as it's number 11 for Red Bull, aka the most second driver on the grid, Sergio Perez. In 2023, Perez was bad. In a duel with Lance Stroll for most disappointing, and honestly, there wasn't too much between them. What started as a quick fling with Q1 exits quickly became a full-blown affair of crashes, poor qualifying, and not enough points. So for 2024, I wouldn't be surprised if he ended even lower than this. On to third now, and just Norris, Hamilton and Verstappen remaining, with the choice here being the Mercedes driver, Lewis Hamilton. As in his final year with the team, it would seem that Lewis isn't really going out on a high, as this third place finish would be the same as it was last year. With no championships in 2021, 2, 3 and 4, clearly Enzo took the news of Lewis's move to Ferrari to mean that the 2024 Mercedes car really isn't that good. And to be honest, if the last couple of years are anything to go by, he may well be right. Second place now, and after stomping his authority on the beanbags, it appears that Enzo has decided that Max Verstappen's reign is over as he slots the Dutchman into second. As if there's one thing that's certain in life, it's that a dog picking up items off the floor most definitely accurately projects the downfall of Red Bull. Either that or, like the rest of us, he's just hoping for an exciting championship. I can't fault his thinking really. That being said, if Verstappen were to finish in second place, opening the door for someone else to take the title, well then you heard it here first. And then finally, in first place, that of course leaves Lando Norris to take home the 2024 Formula 1 crown, as the McLaren driver is the last one to be picked. Despite being yet to win a race, that doesn't matter, as 2024 will apparently be the year he takes his first win and first world title, giving McLaren their first championship since 2008. So there you have it then, my dogs predicted the 2024 F1 World Championship. Let me know if you agree or disagree with his picks down in the comments below. Also, if you're new here, get subscribed to the channel for more content this year, and until next time, take care.